YouTube has done it again, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? If you're reading this, you're probably already kind of guessing where I'm going with this, and probably have already seen a lot of bigger names talk about this, but it's something that I just wanted to bring to light to my community and any random person who happened to come by. YouTube has recently updated their policy on a couple things, which has started hurting bigger names. And I just wanted to kind of talk about, give you guys a brief summary of what's been going on and my concerns when it comes to smaller channels. So back in November, YouTube announced that they were going to update their policies for, advertisement-friendly content. And they were pretty vague about it and didn't say when they were going to drop it, or if they were even guaranteed to drop it, or even an idea of when they were thinking of dropping it. But oh boy, did they drop it! And to only hurt content creators, essentially. What they've done is they've updated their policy. So everyone who doesn't know, since COPA in 2019, FTC had this thing come out called COPA, which essentially made it so you have to have your content either A, labeled for kids, or B, labeled no, it's not for kids. And then they had a bunch of other defining guidelines like, hey, you can't have violence towards children, or hey, you can't use hateful speech and things like that. Essentially, making it so more advertisement friendly. Well, recently they decided that they're going to up the advertisement friendliness to make it so it's no longer friendly towards content creators. And so people have been affected for cursing. Let me just give you guys an update. I'll give you some examples, but first let me give you guys a quick little update. One of the things is inappropriate language. You know what bad words are. You're old enough, you're on YouTube, you should know what bad words are. You've probably seen an R-rated movie. You've probably seen a PG-13 movie. You probably know the S word, the F word, the two B words, things like that. And it used to be, the way it worked was for the first 15 to 30 seconds, no curse words whatsoever. You had to keep your language squeaky clean. After that, say whatever the heck you want. Doesn't matter. Throw in an N-bomb if you want. No one will give a crap. Now, due to YouTube's new inappropriate language, let me read this to you. Abbreviated or censored or words acceptable in network television like hell or damn in the title, thumbnail, or video are totally fine. Profanity like the S word, the female dog, the F word, used outside of the start of the video are fine. However, if it is used for a majority of your speech, you cannot get ad revenue. Here, I kind of messed this up. Hold on a second. This content may earn, let's see, there we go. So this content may, under YouTube's new policy, that's what it is for what you can do for getting ad revenue. This content may earn limited or no ad revenue. Profanity used in the first 8 to 15 seconds. Focal usage of profanity throughout the video, mentioned in every sentence. So if I said the F word every single sentence, yeah, okay, fine. That makes sense. Profanity used in the title or music or stand-up comedy content. Okay, fine, whatever. However, they don't define what a majority is. Or throughout the video is, they give a definition of you use it every sentence. What if you're like me, who sometimes does curse a lot, especially when I've been drinking, but I don't say it every single sentence. I don't even say it that often. What is throughout? mean? I think they changed this before because originally what it said was something completely different. Actually, let me see here. All content, violence, or inappropriate language. Okay, here it is. On the other, that's like the detailed version. Here's the actual update that they gave. Our approach to profanity is changing. All varieties of profanity are now treated equally, meaning they are not differentiated based on levels of severity. So in other words, they're not treating hell or damn as profanity anymore. But that means if I said something along the lines of the A word, like jackass, but without the jack in it, that is now, according to YouTube's new policy, the same level as if I dropped an N-bomb. Same level. Or if I dropped the CU dash word. The same as ass. Like same level according to YouTube. Profanity used after the first 8 seconds may receive ad revenue. Our position on not modifying content with profanity throughout or compromising the majority of the video is not changing. What does that mean? Does that mean if I use it a curse word every other sentence? Does that mean if I use it like once every 5 minutes, does that count as a majority? And again, that means if I said something nonchalantly like female dog, or called someone a real bard. It's the only word I could think of that was close to the Bastion. Bastion, but it's not a name. Whatever. You know what word I'm trying to say. That could get me in trouble. Isn't that fantastic? And this is exactly what's happened to someone named RT Games. Or sorry, RT Game. There's no S in it. But essentially, his content has been he's Irish, so of course, he's been known to drop an F-bomb every once in a while. But really, his content's not that bad. Like, when it comes to language. Like, yeah, you'll hear it every once in a while. Like, maybe once every other minute. Unless he's, like, really emphasizing the fact that he's swearing. Then he'll do it a lot. But generally, no, not a lot. And then one of his videos, his latest video, which was his best of 2022 video, got flagged. And he asked YouTube for help. And instead of helping him, they start flagging all his other content. And essentially gave him the middle finger with we're so sorry that you couldn't follow our guidelines. Oh, by the way, did I mention the fact that this isn't just for new content you're uploading? No. They're applying this new policy to all content you've ever posted. If you were doing YouTube back in 2006, that content's free game. If it's privatized, it's still free game. And what will they do with it? They'll age restrict it. Which is even worse than demonetizing, because not only does it mean that you're not getting paid for it, and they're still going to put ads on it, but that also means that your YouTube footage is not going to show up in YouTube feed. And if you search it and the person's not signed in, they're not going to find it. So for instance, like say I took my Pokemon Professors video, and for the sake of it, I just put it as adult content, and it became age restricted. I could give you the exact title. You wouldn't find it unless you were signed in and legally said you were 18 years old. What? It's absurd. It's truly absurd. And again, we already knew YouTube's regulations were bonkers anyways. Again, I got hit with a strike for a kid falling out of a chair. And the best part is, YouTube didn't even tell me that's what it was. Another thing I forgot to mention, this is why you write scripts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, of thoughts you want to talk about, so you don't just kind of bounce from thing to thing. YouTube won't tell you what the problem is. They'll give you a vague definition, like, say, oh, profanity. They don't tell you what the main offender is. Or, oh, violence, child violence. Like in my case, child violence. Did they tell you where? No. You try to get an appeal, instead of having a human actually come and review it, the bot will reject it instantly. And they still won't tell you anything. Now, it's not for everything. With profanity, they won't tell you exactly where the offender is. But apparently, they won't tell you with child violence either. Or just violence in general, which, by the way, perfect segue into violence. They updated their violence thing recently. Let me give you the synopsis for violence. Non-graphic dead bodies presented without any context. Game violence directed at real named person or acts that are manufactured to create shocking experiences, such as brutal mass killing. Looking at you, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Or was it Modern Warfare 2? Implied amount of death, such as bombing a building with people inside, may not receive ad revenue. Standard gameplay where gory injuries are present after the first 8 seconds, non-graphic tragedies, and their aftermath, such as footage of town flood, or policy seizures as part of the law enforcement, may receive ad revenue. Which is great and all, except for the fact that this is still affecting gaming content creators. They're still getting flagged for violence. It happened to RT Game. It's happened to a few content creators, and this is before even the new update that they put to the policy. And it's, you know what? Another great example, Moist Critical. Good old Charlie White. He's had a couple of his videos recently hit for showing still images of his comic God Slap. Again, not actual gore, just drawn gore, or even still frames of gore. No, can't do that. You can't depict 2D graphics of gore. No gore. You're not allowed. No blood. It doesn't say that in the guidelines. It doesn't say that for violence. But hey, guess what? YouTube don't care. And again, may I remind you, this is just for this is for any of your content. You're supposed to apparently predict the future and figure out what the new policies YouTube are about to put out years in advance, even when you're first starting your content creation, and figure, oh, I gotta set it up so even if they change it ever so slightly, the slightest margin's fine. That means if YouTube ever starts reviewing some of my older content, I guarantee you a lot of it's getting age restricted, because there was times where I didn't, hold my tongue and I said a lot of crude things, whether it be language or jokes. Pretty sure it'd be age restricted at this point. The worst part about all of this is they're talking about how this is ruining the livelihood of content creators. People who do this as a job. I mean, if you saw, what was it, RT Game just literally posted a vlog about the latest updates of the things that have been going on with this channel. And it's not pretty. And he just sounds so distraught in it. It's very saddening. And he's a big content creator. What is it like for people who are just trying to either A, get by, or B, if you're like me, who's not even in the YouTube partner program? Which, by the way, I still get ads on my content. Which I believe I have that one up too. Yep, okay. So I've already got this thing hurting me, which is YouTube can serve ads on all content on the platform. If you were previously a member of the YouTube Partner Program, which Spoiler alert, I was before they started giving the new updates. Back when they had this weird policy where anyone could be a content YouTube partner. This is essentially, you want to be a partner? Sure, go for it, whatever. So technically, I was a YouTube partner. You may still see ads being served on your content. In this case, you don't share any ad revenue. So in other words, it's essentially the trade offer. We put ads that give us money and hurt you growing. You receive no growth. We hurt your growth. Have fun with that. But now we've got all these new policies where unless I keep my language squeaky clean or only say the word fuck once in a blue moon, I can get hit for it with age restriction. Which means if you guys aren't legally binded to Google stating that you are 18 plus, you can't see my content and you won't be able to find my content either. So imagine trying to get to YouTube partnership with that. Any small content creator. Imagine you've done all these atrocities like saying ass. Oh no, you said that word. And you said it several times. Kiss your chances at gaining YouTube partnership goodbye. Because I guarantee you, even if I do make the 40K mark, which is the last step I need to become a YouTube partner, with all these new policies, not only can they say no, because you don't meet our guidelines, they can also go, by the way, a lot of your content's now age restricted because we've had to review your content in order to, say that you can or cannot. So have fun with that. And there was another point I wanted to make with that, but oh yeah, and we're still going to put ad revenues on everything, so you still can't grow. So have fun with that. So in other words, even if I do make all the goals they want, if I apply for partnership, they can not only say no, they can hurt my chances at ever growing. And this isn't just me that's in trouble. It's any content creator who's going in the same boat as I am. Anyone. Literally anyone. For any reason. And yet, the wheel keeps on spinning. I don't know. It's just, again, this is for any content. Any content you've ever posted. Even as privatized. RT Game, he even mentioned that in one of his Minecraft videos that he has privatized that was posted in 2011, it got hit with age restriction too. It wasn't even public. It could happen to any of your content. And for what? What reason? Because there's kids on YouTube? Some of the ads that they advertise are for like John Wick. And my content of me playing Splatoon and saying the F-bomb occasionally isn't at risk. Or people playing video games with violent context or cursing could be in grave jeopardy. Jeopardy is the word. For what reason? What possible reason? This wouldn't be so insulting if A, we didn't already have a thing that, by the way, your content's not made for kids, which is a checkbox you have to mark before uploading content or live streaming. But they also dedicated an entire another app to YouTube Kids. But no, sure, people who want to make a living off of this or just want to help grow their audience and entertain people for the fun of it, no, let's hurt them. For what reason? And we're not going to even tell you the reason why. That's the best part. We're not even going to tell you why you're getting deemed. We're going to give you a vague description and not give you exact moments, unless you're big enough on the food chain on YouTube, in which case, yeah, we will give you someone who responds to you instantly and then tell you exactly where in your content the offender is. But if you're someone like me, no, just give you a vague description of, no, your video violates this property. Are we going to tell you what part of your video? No. And for what reason? YouTube, please tell me, what reason is this for? I would love an explanation, but that would require you to actually care enough to have people respond. You don't even respond when we try to get appeals for our content. Yeah, you'll have a human review it. Why is it instantly rejected after 10 seconds of an appeal? It's mind-boggling. I just don't know anymore. No, it's like, how long before violence in general is just like, oh no, you can't have violence? How long before things like Tom and Jerry cartoons are like, oh, you hit someone with an anvil, that's violent content. Kids could get scared by that. Age restricted. How long before something like that ludicrous? And before people start going, okay, that's a little bit of exaggeration. Still frames of blood. Age restricted. RT Games saying fuck a few times. Age restricted. Me having a kid fall out of a chair that YouTube not only has the original video up, but also had Snoop Dogg react to it on the official YouTube channel. Got a strike for it. When does it stop? When does this stop? The craziness. Just the worst part is, there's still, I'm for anyone who's coming back to this is a live stream. I just saw a comment that says, imagine YouTube seeing this and taking it down because they don't like hate on the site as well. No, you can belittle people as much as you want. Like, if I went on a tirade about hating people, for whatever reason, I want people to make sure they 100% know this is an example. This does not reflect what I actually believe. But let's say I started, downgrading black people. By the way, black people are people. They are on the same level as everyone else. I want to make that perfectly clear before I continue this sentence. I'm sure someone could take it out of context, so I can still get in trouble. I want this to be an example. Let's say that I started, dropping N-bombs or, being very mean to my black brothers and sisters. Let's say I started doing that. YouTube doesn't care. Sorry, no. If I start dropping N-bombs, they would care. If I leave the N-bombs out, they wouldn't care. YouTube would let it be. Because hate speech, to a degree, is fine, as long as I'm not saying using hateful words. But if I'm belittling people, okay, no, that's not true. If you are just hateful for the sake of being hateful, then yes, you could get dinged for that. But if I were to try to be hateful and I was using an example of, like, say, using historical facts, like, this is historically why, yada, yada, yada. As long as I don't curse, as long as I don't use truly just hateful person, I can disguise my hateful speech as facts. If I do that, YouTube doesn't care. If I say the N-word though, which I won't, because I don't want to offend anyone. Okay, if I say the F word, or even just the A word, 3 letters, that's all it takes. Instantly in trouble. It's mind-boggling. All of this is just... What's the N-word? The N-word, do not repeat this, is the Spanish... Think the Spanish word for black? Yeah, just Google it. What is the N-word? Just Google it. Don't repeat it. Keep that information to yourself. I don't need that in my chat. It's just... You know, it's funny because there's things like skits that I had an idea for. You know, I was thinking of doing like, spoiler alert, one of the skits I was going to record soon was a, what was it? Resident Evil 2 skit, which the first little bit would have me murdering zombies. Now I'm not even sure I want to do that skit because it has murder in it. Even though it's murder of fictional beings, it still have blood, still have violent acts. Wouldn't be allowed, according to YouTube's new guidelines. I mean, it's just a heck of a thing to come home and find that this is all happening. And again, it's bad enough that they're taking away the problem for bigger content creators who are just trying to make a living or just want to spread joy and the joy of their content. It's detrimental and devastating for them, and even more so for people who even want to even consider doing this for a living or even consider just doing it as a part-time job. Like, again, example, I want to be a YouTube partner. I want to make money. I want to somehow spread my career. I want to get paid for doing what I love, which is making content for people. Now, I'm sure if I did try to go and get YouTube partnership after reaching that 4K watch hours mark, which I'm nowhere near, by the way, I'm pretty sure it'll just hurt me more than help me. I'm pretty sure I won't just get rejected. I'm pretty sure I'll get age restricted too. Like, I've seen some W's from this site before. You know, Google, you know, there wasn't, you know, Google taking over wasn't the worst thing at the start. But then it got worse and worse. And then we got to 2019 with Copa, and it's gone even further downhill. And today, or just this last month, was the biggest bombshell yet. Devastating for content creators, both those who are in the partner program, those who even just want to attempt to get to the partner program. What's the point of having something like YouTube Kids? Or even just having an option that says, like, my content is not for kids, if you're just gonna deem people anyways? What's the option? What's the point of having that box to check that says, no, my content is not made for kids, if you're gonna hurt them just for saying some language that they already stated is gonna be in the video because the video is not made for kids? That's one of the biggest parts here. It's like, I've already listed my content not for kids. If I need to say after 8 to 15 seconds an F-bomb to solidify that, or throw up some middle fingers, or say something derogatory towards someone in order to get that point across, fine. What's the point of having the option that says not for kids then? If you're going to deem someone for doing the things that they said they're going to do. It'd be different if I labeled my content as for kids and dropped some not safe for work content. That would make 100% sense. I would understand. But really, people are going to get deemed. Again, RT Games, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, is going to get deemed for cursing in a content he's already labeled as not for kids. And again, he's already put down the fact that he had over 800 hours of content that he went through and edited for this video. But because he said a few too many words that are on YouTube no-no list, because we know ass is the same as N-word, according to YouTube, he gets deemed for it. And then the rest of his content gets deemed for it. It is ludicrous. It's unacceptable. But what are people going to do about it? It's owned by Big Brother Google. And what's the only thing is, the only way to really rectify this is if everyone from YouTube started leaving and left for a long time. Like a really long time. Like if all the big names and a bunch of the smaller names and a bunch of people watching just left. And they did it for like half a year plus. Then maybe YouTube, after losing a bunch of money, would go, oh, I see, this was a mistake. But no one's going to do that. Because as I stated before, YouTube is, for some people, their livelihood. It is their life. It is how they make their living. If they don't have YouTube, they have no way of making a living. They're essentially jeopardizing jobs for people. So that's one reason why people won't leave. A second reason why people won't leave, especially people who don't really do live streams and just make content, just like videos, like I used to do before I ever became a live streamer. Where are they going to go? Vivmo? Of course not. They're going to have nowhere to go. YouTube is the dominating market for content creation. It's the most convenient to go watch content. So, of course, that's where everyone's going to go. Why would people go to Vimeo? Vivmo. It's insane how big YouTube is in the video content creation. Vimeo. Thank you, Vimeo. Case in point, I almost never hear of it except for examples of places that you would go if you didn't go to YouTube. And then Twitch has got its own problems. You can't post videos there, really. Or at least people don't go to Twitch for videos. Not on top of all the other crap storms that are going through it. You know, there was a site that they were going to make that was competitive with YouTube called VidMe. It died in the year that it was released. Or if you're a streamer, there was another site you could go to called Glimish, but no one streams over there. It lasted like a month and then died. It's again. And again, YouTube knows they can get away with this. Why? What's the other options? What's the other actual options people would have. There is none. Again, for people who make a living doing this, there is no option. And again, if you're a streamer, the only other good site that there was Mixer. But then Mixer got taken down. So again, the main markets right now are just YouTube for videos, and then YouTube and Twitch for streaming. So what other alternatives do people have? There are no other alternatives. You can't fight YouTube. And for those who make a living, you've got nowhere else to go. You've got nowhere to turn to, essentially. You're screwed. No matter what. It's things like this. There's days where I feel like, there's small wins. There's some days where I feel like there's a win. Every once in a while, I feel like every once in a while there are small wins with the YouTube. Even I have my small victories. There's some updates that they give that are always nice. Like, having people at the ads. The ads for YouTube are really nice. Being able to add someone in your title. So instead of featuring yada yada yada, you can just put at this person. And you click them. That was a nice update. And then YouTube just finds ways of hurting people. Like, again, another thing that they used to have was you could look up before you posted your video, you could type in for your content. You could type in the audio library. For people who don't know YouTube that much, in the YouTube studio, there's a audio library where you can find royalty-free songs. There used to be a tab specifically for typing in the titles of songs to see if there was royalties for it. Say if I said, great example, I just typed in Enter Sandman. First thing that would pop up was Enter Sandman, Metallica. There's a royalty on it. You will get dinged for it. They took that tool away from YouTube. And we don't know why. There's no reason why they did it. There's no good reason why they would do it. It was a useful tool with no drawbacks. And they just took it away. Oh, one thing in all my tirades I forgot in my tirade that I forgot to mention? Tirade? What's the word? Whatever. So imagine, let's say I used a bunch of profanity in this stream or in a video. Let's just say I did that. And YouTube deemed me with, oh, you used too much language. And we're going to age restrict you. I could go use YouTube's editing program because they have an editing program for editing your videos after you've uploaded them to the site. I could go in, cut out all the sound from every single profanity I ever used and fix it so there is no language whatsoever. And YouTube says they've actually stated that they're going to do this, will still leave age restriction on. There's no reason to ever use the YouTube editing tool except for to get rid of music that might be copyrighted. Other than that, if you want to fix anything else, like say I got rid of something that was too gory in my video or too much language so I cut out all the words. If I use that tool, YouTube won't get rid of it still. Age restriction still. So what's the point of using YouTube's editing tool? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you add a tool if you're just going to make it so? Why would you just make it so? Again, why would you give people a tool to fix your videos if you're still going to hurt them even if they fix the videos? What's the point? That's another point. Again, thank you, Schneidog. That's another point that I wasn't sure if I was going to bring up. But there's another thing. If your transcript, the auto transcript for your video, because for people who don't know, on YouTube, whether it's live streaming or videos, there's both an auto caption and there's a transcript. And if either of them has a cuss in it, you could get demonetized for it. This has happened to even family-friendly channels where the transcript, whether you've actually said the word or not, is irrelevant. If the transcript or the auto subtitles says it, then you could get demonetized. So in other words, if I said tick, like TikTok, or like the insect, a tick, if I slur it just enough and the transcript says I said the D word, or the caption says I said the D word, demonetized. Neat. It hurts. Like, this just hurts my brain. It hurts my soul. Everything about it just hurts. Like, how are people supposed to justify this? And the worst part is, apparently, a lot of the bigger names out there for YouTube start talking to their personal, like, representatives in YouTube, and the representatives had no idea this was happening. So not only was the information not passed down well at all to anyone who was doing YouTube content creation, it wasn't even passed down to YouTube representatives. But again, what are we supposed to do? YouTube's owned by Google. We've got jack nothing to do. It's... Or, yeah, no, that would be a bad one too. Bucket turns into the F word. And it's just... What's the point of trying? Like, I guess that's a terrible way of putting it. Because, I would like to continue growing. It's just going to be hard now. I'm just afraid that eventually we're going to get to the point where essentially YouTube just becomes a kid streaming site. And you can't get away with anything. No violence. So imagine trying to do like anything like Pokemon. Oh, well, you have an animal fighting another animal. Now it's age restricted. I mean, you might be able to get away with gameplay because the gameplay's animation is generally not too, shocking. But if I wanted to, like, say, make an animation of two Pokemon fighting, oh no, that would be violence. When does it get to the point where that becomes a problem? Or again, say I have shocking violence. Like, again, me pulling out... This is a fake gun, by the way, I'm about to pull out. How long before me using this as a prop? This. Clearly, airsoft gun. Look, orange tip. Airsoft gun. Doesn't sound like a gun. It vaguely represents a gun with its cheap plastic look. How long before me using that as a prop gets me a strike or demonetized? And I used it as a prop already. I used it in my last skit. I shot a Tyranitar with a gun with a clearly orange tip. I mean, look at this. The barrel doesn't even move back. It's clearly fake. How long before that goes? How long before me just demonstrating how a fake gun works gets me in trouble? Or anyone else in trouble? It's heartbreaking. That's what this is. It's heartbreaking to see people who work their hardest to have this, to make a name for themselves, whether it be for fame, for making it a job, or just entertaining people, or all three at the same time, kind of like what I'm trying to do. Mostly entertain people with an objective of maybe getting money at some point, and maybe becoming YouTube famous. How it just hurts their chances tenfold. And the people who do have names for themselves, who are just doing it as a job, well, now they're screwed because they can't get money. Sucks to be them. I wish I had a better way of ending this little rant of mine. I really don't. I love to have here's what you can do in order to help fix this. There's nothing we can do. Except for pray that maybe some big names rage enough that something gets done. I don't know. Like, that's a very, 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 very unlikely thing to happen. But for the smaller people, whether we make content or just are content consumers who just go on YouTube just to watch stuff, we got nothing. Like, what are we gonna do? Sign a petition? We could have literally everyone around the world sign a petition for this. And what are they gonna do? And as long as we have enough people watching, it doesn't matter because we're the biggest video site in the world. It's I'm at a loss. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had a better, happier, chippier way of ending this, but I really don't. And I don't know what to tell people. I don't know where we go from here. The worst part is, I can only imagine it gets way worse. And not even before it gets better. I don't even know if it's ever going to get better. I don't know if YouTube's ever going to pull their head out of their ass and realize how much they're hurting people. I can only assume that restrictions are going to get even worse over time. before people start asking, what for anyone who stayed this long and is done hearing me rant, I'm not quitting. Like, I'm not just gonna give up, roll over, play dead. I still want to make content. I still want to do the skits because skits are a new, really fun thing that I really wanted to do. It's just that maybe more heavily, like it was already probably going to be heavily Pokemon related. Now it's probably going to be even more heavily Pokemon related because I can make friendlier Pokemon related content than I can a lot of other things. I will do my best to be as YouTube friendly as I can be. It's just that I don't know if we'll ever reach that partnership. Like my after today, my it's not the reaching. Like I said, I definitely think some if things keep going the way they're going, we'll definitely reach the goal of 4,000 watch hours. I don't know if I'm comfortable trying to get into YouTube partnership at this point. 'Cause who knows if they're gonna look at my content and just go, no. And also all those videos you worked really hard on, no, they're age restricted now. Like I said, as much as I really want to make money doing this, I want to reach people more. I'm just, it just, today has been a very discouraging day when it comes to content creation for me. Like, I've never, it's been a long time since I felt this demoralized. And that's coming from a guy who, like 3 or 4 months ago, did a live stream of me just sitting in front of a camera, nearly crying, going, I don't know what to do anymore. And that is a cakewalk in comparison, because that was just me crying because I didn't know what to do in order to play the YouTube game. Now it's more of a I don't know how to play the YouTube game because YouTube's changing the rules and screwing everyone over, which is way more demoralizing. Just, it's a really, really, really big L that we're all being handed. I don't know how YouTube could see it as a W for them. It's by far one of their biggest L's, if not their biggest. I am gonna go pick up my brother from work, eat some food, and take out my aggression out on some people in Splatoon 3. Or attempt to. Hopefully not get more salty. Might have to get a unnamed beverage because who knows if I mention any adult substances if I get in trouble for that now, or when I'll get in trouble for that. Maybe that's a new prediction. Maybe YouTube will start making it so you can't mention certain things that adults do. Have some of that, play some Splatoon, and just try to forget about this the rest of the night. And then tomorrow, I promise I'll be back. Hopefully, a bit more chippier, rested. All I can say is we all need to hang in there. And for everyone who has backed me up until this point, thank you. I'm still going to plow on ahead, even with YouTube beating every content creator down. You know, no matter what happens, even if this channel does start becoming to the point where it's so age restricted that there's not worth doing anymore, you all have been such a big part of my life. There's a reason why I've been doing this for over 8 years and why I want to keep doing it. And I really hope I get an opportunity to keep doing this. Not specifically this, but content creation. Can't thank you all enough for keeping me in the game for as long as I've been doing this. And I hope that 2023 is not the end of Synchrona. I pray that it's not the end of Synchrona. Or any other major content creator out there. Or anyone that I know. Hang tight, everyone. Somehow, I hope we get through this. I'm praying we get through this. Till then, I'll be back tomorrow to finish off Splatfest. And hope you all have a great rest of your night/day. Peace.